Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Topic of my today's lecture is bone tumors and tumor-like lesions of bone. Now, first of all, I will discuss with you classification of bone tumors. The bone tumors are classified on the basis of cell of origin. The important tumors are hemopoietic tumors arising from the hemopoietic cells and tumors arising from bone forming cells, then cartilage forming tumors, fibrogenic tumors, and there are certain tumors which are of unknown origin, and some of the tumors they arise from the notochordal and neuroectodermal remnants. The bone forming tumors are again divided into benign and malignant. The benign bone forming tumors are osteoma and osteoid osteoma. The malignant bone forming tumors are osteosarcoma. Now, next classification is of cartilage forming tumors. Cartilage forming tumors are again divided into benign and malignant. Benign are chondromas and osteochondromas. Malignant is chondrosarcoma. So fibrogenic tumors are of two types, benign and malignant. The benign tumor, which is very common, is fibrous cortical defect. It is also called metaphyseal fibrous defect, or in some book it is written as non-ossifying fibroma. The malignant fibrogenic tumor is fibrosarcoma. The tumors of unknown origin are giant cell tumors or aneurysmal bone cyst, and tumors of neuroectodermal origin is Ewing sarcoma, and tumor of notochordal origin is chordoma. The hemopoietic tumors are of two types, myeloma and lymphoma. Now, first of all, I will discuss with you bone forming tumors in detail. Osteoma. Osteoma is a round to oval sessile tumor which is usually present on the skull and facial bones. And those osteomas which are present on the facial bone, they are usually multiple. And next benign bone forming tumor is osteoid osteoma. The size of osteoid osteoma is usually less than 2 centimeter, and it is seen in teens and 20s. 50% of these osteoid osteoma they arise in the tibia and femur. Their characteristic presenting feature is they present with severe nocturnal pain. They are round to oval with central nidus. Histologically, they are composed of interconnecting delicate trabeculae of woven bone, and the intertrabecular spaces in between the trabeculae, they show vascularized fibroconnective tissue. Osteoblastoma is usually present in the spine and present with dull pain. This is the clinical appearance of the osteoma, and this present on the skull bone in the mastoid region. And this is the gross view of the osteoma. You can see bony outgrowth from the skull bone. This is the histological picture of osteoma showing bony trabeculae of lamellar bone. And this is the gross specimen of osteoid osteoma showing a oval shaped circumscribed lesion with central brownish nidus. And this is the histological appearance of the osteoid osteoma. In the center you see nidus, which is composed of thin, delicate, bony trabeculae with intervening fibroconnective tissue, and this osteoid osteoma is surrounded by thick trabeculae of reactive bone. Osteosarcoma. This is the most common primary malignant tumor of bone. Usually affects adolescents. Osteosarcoma occasionally can occur in the elderly patients, commonly involve the metaphyseal region of the bones, and it is common in the distal femur, proximal tibia and humerus. Pathogenicity. Mutations are seen in certain genes such as RB genes, retinoblastoma genes and P53. Mutations are also seen in INK4A, which encodes P16. Grossly, the osteosarcomas, they are gritty and they destroy the surrounding cortex with soft tissue extension. They infiltrate the medullary canal. Histologically, tumor cells show pleomorphism with bizarre tumor giant cells, and mitosis are frequent. The characteristic feature is that these tumor cells, they produce osteoid and bone. Osteoid and bone formation is seen in these tumors. Therefore, they are called osteosarcoma. This is the gross specimen of osteosarcoma. You see, this is the growth, osteosarcoma, involving the medullary cavity and also extending into the adjacent soft tissues. And you can see over here, the periosteum is elevated due to mass and reactive bone formation. The periosteum elevation forms a triangle, and this triangle is called Cordner's triangle, and this helps in the diagnosis of osteosarcoma. And this is the mass, expansile mass involving the bone. You can see again, this is the lower part of the middle part and lower part of the femur, and you can see there is periosteal elevation of the periosteal elevation, and this forms a Cordner's triangle, and I told you it helps in the diagnosis of osteosarcoma. Although Cordner's triangle is also seen in other tumors, but in osteosarcoma it is also helpful in the diagnosis. Again you see tumor involving the femur, and there is elevation of the periosteum, and this elevation is creating Cordner triangle. Again this mass involving the femur, and you can see this opacity is due to bone formation by the osteosarcoma, and this type of opacity which radiates outward is called sunburst appearance. Sunburst appearance. Again you can see Cordner's triangle. This is the histological view of the osteosarcoma, and you can see these are the tumor cells. Oval to spindle shaped cell, hyperchromatic cell, some pleomorphism is there, and the pink structure is the osteoid. These tumor cells, they are forming osteoid, and this is the characteristic feature of this tumor. They form osteoid and bone. Again this is high grade tumors. These are the tumor cells, and over here you can see some osteoid osteosarcoma, and in the upper left you see a mitosis. Now we come to the cartilage forming tumors. Now first of all we will discuss the benign cartilage forming tumor, chondroma. Chondroma are usually called enchondromas because they are present in the medullary cavity of the bones and usually small bones of the hand and feet. If they are multiple, this is called Ollius disease, and there are chances that these chondromas can change towards chondrosarcoma. Another disease is Maffucci syndrome, in which multiple enchondromas are seen with associated multiple angiomas. Osteochondroma is another very common benign cartilage forming tumor. It is also called exostosis. This is the most common benign tumor, I told you, and it is capped by cartilage. The outer surface of this tumor is covered by cartilage and it is attached to the underlying bone by a stalk at metaphysis near the epiphysis. They may be sessile or mushroom shaped, and histologically you can again see hyaline cartilage with underlying bony trabeculae. They are commonly seen near knee and project away from the knee. These are multiple enchondromas of the bones of the hand. This is the histological view of the chondroma. You see chondrocytes, they are lying in the lacunae, singly, very uniform, small chondrocytes, and in between you see this is chondrite matrix. This is benign bone cartilage forming tumor, that is chondroma. This is osteochondroma, mushroom shaped exophytic growth, exostosis, and it is, you see, covered by cap of cartilage and underlying bone is continuous with this stalk is continuous with the underlying bone. This is osteochondroma or exostosis. This is the radiological appearance of the osteochondroma. You can see the bone is projecting away from the knee joint. It is projecting away from the knee joint, mushroom shaped growth, exostosis or osteochondroma. Another small osteochondroma over here. This is the histological picture of the osteochondroma. This is the cap of hyaline cartilage. In the outermost part, some fibrous tissue is seen, and underlying this fibrous tissue this is mature hyaline cartilage. These are chondrocytes, and beneath this cartilage you can see bony trabeculae. Osteochondroma. You see, osteochondroma means this is bone and this is cartilage. A combination of both is called osteochondroma. This is the covering hyaline cartilage and this is the underlying bony trabeculae. Now we come to the malignant tumor of the cartilage forming malignant tumor, that is called chondrosarcoma. Pathogenesis. Mutation in CEXT, IDH, COL2A1 and silencing of CDK N2A is also seen in chondrosarcoma. Grossly they are huge bulky tumors and they show nodules of glistening grey-white translucent cartilage. Because they are chondrosarcoma, they are composed of cartilaginous structure. Sometimes they give gelatinous and myxide appearance. Gelatinous and myxide they are also seen. They grow in broad pushing front. This is the characteristic feature of chondrosarcoma. They grow in broad pushing fronts, and spotty calcification is also seen. And this also helps radiologically in the diagnosis of chondrosarcoma. In chondrosarcoma, spotty or splotchy calcification is also seen. Histologically, anaplastic chondrocytes are seen. The chondrocytes, they show pleomorphism, and this pleomorphism varies. The cellularity and atypia of these cells vary. If they are low grade, then pleomorphism is low, but if they are high grade, then pleomorphism is more. In grade 1 tumor, the atypia or pleomorphism is mild, but in grade 3 tumor, there is marked pleomorphism and more mitosis. In grade 1, mitoses are less in number. Usually they are low to moderate grade tumors. The high grade tumors are rare. This is, you see, chondrosarcoma involving the medullary cavity of the femur, expanding the medullary canal. And this is the gross specimen of chondrosarcoma. You see lobulated masses of glistening cartilage, and some hemorrhage is there, and whitish areas are due to calcification. I told you this is cartilaginous tumor with some spotty calcification. These white areas, they are calcification, spotty calcification, and over here some hemorrhage is there. Lobulated cartilaginous mass, clear, with hemorrhagic area, glistening cartilage, and some spotty calcification. Chondrosarcoma. This is the histological view of the chondrosarcoma. You see very big chondrocytes, and some of these chondrocytes show prominent nucleoli. These are pleomorphic chondrocytes, and in some of the lacunae you can see binucleation. Two cells lying in a single lacunae. This is also again two cells, and this multinucleation. This binucleation is also a feature of chondrosarcoma. Pleomorphism, binucleation, prominent nuclei, all these are features of chondrosarcoma. Now we come to the tumors of uncertain origin, that is giant cell tumor. Giant cell tumors are also called osteoclastoma because they arise from the osteoclast, therefore they are called osteoclastomas. Pathogenesis. There is basically ligand abnormality in the genes which produce these rank and rank ligand. Rank is a receptor which is present on the osteoclast, and rank ligand is produced by the osteoclast, which combines with the rank receptor on the osteoclast, and ultimately there is stimulation of the osteoclast and proliferation of the osteoclast. Therefore, the rank and L signaling pathway plays a role in the pathogenesis of giant cell tumor. Grossly, they are large brown tumors which show cystic degeneration, and hemorrhage is also seen. Histologically, numerous osteoclast type giant cells are seen. These tumors, as the name indicates, giant cell tumor, they show numerous osteoclast type giant cells with oval to spindle shape, generally oval shaped mononuclear stromal cells. Oval shaped mononuclear cells in the background with scattered numerous osteoclast giant cells. These are the two features of giant cell tumor. Numerous osteoclast type giant cells and oval shaped mononuclear stromal cells. They are also graded low to high grade, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. And the grading of the tumor is based on the atypia of the mononuclear cells. If mononuclear cells are atypical and showing more mitosis, then they are high-grade tumors. This is the radiological appearance of the giant cell tumor involving the lower end of the radius, and you can see multiple lytic lesion, and this type of lesion in which multiple lytic lesion expansile tumor is, this appearance is called soap bubble appearance, and this soap bubble appearance is helpful in the diagnosis of giant cell tumors. Radiologically it helps in the diagnosis, soap bubble appearance helps in the diagnosis of giant cell tumor. This is the gross specimen of the giant cell tumor, and you can see sectional surface showing hemorrhagic and cystic areas. Hemorrhagic and cystic areas. Gross specimen of the. This is the histological appearance of giant cell tumor. You see numerous scattered multinucleated giant cells. These giant cells, they contain numerous nuclei, multinucleated giants, osteoclast type giant cells, and the background shows oval shaped stromal cells. These are the stromal cells. Stromal cells, oval shaped stromal cells, osteoclastoma. Two structures are seen histologically. One is giant cells numerous, and then background shows oval shaped stromal cells. The grading depends on the pleomorphism and mitosis of the stromal cells. In high-grade tumor, one can also see necrosis. Now we come to the Ewing sarcoma. You see, this is tumor involving the middle part of the bone, and this is basically a neuroectodermal origin tumor. Ewing sarcoma usually seen in the young patients. And this is the radiological appearance of the Ewing sarcoma. You see, this tumor is involving the mid part of the bone, shaft of the bone, and you can see over here there is periosteal reaction, and there are multiple layers are formed of this periosteum, and this form of periosteal reaction is called onion skin appearance. Multiple layers. This onion skin appearance is characteristic of Ewing sarcoma. Radiologically, this is a sign of Ewing sarcoma. Onion skin appearance. This is the histological view of Ewing sarcoma. You see numerous, and this is cellular tumor, numerous oval shaped, round to oval shaped cells, mainly round cells, hyperchromatic nuclei, and over here some as a vague rosette-like structure is also found, and this is Ewing sarcoma. Cellular tumor composed of round cells with hyperchromatic nuclei. This is the PS stain of the Ewing sarcoma. These are the nuclei, but the cytoplasm is pink, PS stain. Because these cells, they contain cytoplasmic glycogen, therefore the PS stain helps in staining the glycogen. If they are positive, then it helps in the diagnosis of Ewing sarcoma. These cells are PS positive. These are round nuclei, and pink material is glycogen, which is PS positive. PS positivity is seen in Ewing sarcoma. The next tumor is metaphyseal fibrous defect. This is also called non-ossifying fibroma. Metaphyseal fibrous defect or fibrous cortical defect. This is also called fibrous cortical defect, and this presents in the metaphyseal region. This is femur, and as a lytic lesion in the metaphyseal region. This is also called fibrous cortical defect or non-ossifying fibroma. In some of the book it is written as metaphyseal fibrous defect involving the metaphyseal region of long bones. This is the histological appearance of the metaphyseal fibrous defect or fibrous cortical defect. It is composed of fibroconnective tissue. Background shows fibroconnective tissue with patchy infiltrate of giant cell. Multinucleated giant cells are also seen. Multinucleated giant cell with background showing fibrovascular and fibroconnective tissue. Proliferation of fibroconnective tissue. Proliferation of fibroconnective tissue with patchy infiltrate of giant cell, osteoclast type giant cell. You see, these giant cells are less as compared to giant cell tumor. So this histologically, it comes in the differential diagnosis of giant cell tumor. If you see giant cell, it is not necessary you are dealing with giant cell tumor. Giant cell tumors are seen in other tumor or tumor-like lesions of the bone. One is this metaphyseal fibrous defect or fibrous cortical defect. Giant cell tumors are also seen in aneurysmal bone cyst, a cystic lesion of the bone, and this is called aneurysmal bone cyst. You can also see giant cell in aneurysmal bone cyst. So osteoclast type giant cells are not only seen in giant cell tumor, but they are also seen certain other tumors such as metaphyseal cortical defect and aneurysmal bone cyst. This is the fibrosarcoma, fleshy mass. Fibrosarcoma over here, it has involved the skeletal muscle. Fibrosarcoma. This whitish fleshy mass is fibrosarcoma. This is the histological appearance of the fibrosarcoma. You see spindle-shaped cell arranged in interlacing pattern. Over here, it is giving appearance of herringbone pattern. You see, herringbone pattern means intersecting bundles of spindle-shaped cell, just giving the appearance of herringbone. This is the short essay question which can be asked in the examination. What are the differential diagnoses of giant cell containing lesions of bones? Thank you very much.